What is going on, guys? It's ThePowerBauer 2 here, and I'm sure all of you saw the Super Smash Bros. Direct last week, which revealed many new features and characters, including Simon and Richter Belmont, Dark Samus, Chrom, and my boy, King K. Rool. Since this Direct aired, the Smash Bros. Community has been running rampant trying to figure out which characters will have the best chance to appear in these games, and I am here to end the debate. I have put together what I believe to be the most likely list of characters to be added to this game. Now, this list will be what I believe to be the most likely, not what I want the most, because if I did that, it would just all be Waluigi. But remember, Sakurai said that we shouldn't expect too many new fighters in this game, and although he has already shattered expectations, I am still going to believe him and limit myself to a total of 70 characters, not including Ecco fighters. We already have 67 characters, so this means I believe we will only receive 3 brand new fighters in the initial roster, because we might receive more in DLC later down the line. We will start this list with new Ecco fighters. Unlike brand new fighters, I do think it's possible that we may receive more than 3 more Ecco fighters, but I am still going to limit myself to what I believe to be the 3 most likely Ecco fighters. So without further ado, let us begin. The first Ecco fighter that I believe will be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is Isabel from the Animal Crossing series. Isabel obviously would be an Ecco fighter for Villager, as they are very similar. They could make some very small changes to Villager's moveset that would fit Isabel much more. There have been multiple rumors floating around that Isabel is basically confirmed for these games, and I am inclined to believe them as there has been so much hype for Isabel recently. So many people want her, and Sakurai has shown that this game will adhere to fan requests. I think she is probably the most likely Ecco fighter to be released. The second Ecco fighter that I believe will be in this game is the Octolings from the Splatoon series. Now, I originally did not think this was very likely because the Inklings were a brand new addition, and I didn't think that there would be an Ecco fighter for a new addition. But Richter being added as an Ecco fighter for Simon Belmont made me think otherwise. Splatoon 2 is a fairly recent release on the Nintendo Switch, and the Octo expansion for this game just came out this summer. So many people would want to play as the Octolings over the Inklings anyways, and the movesets would be so easy to transition as well. They could just change a couple of weapons that they use, and bada bing bada boom, we have a new Ecco fighter! Splatoon has a pretty big following, and the only other characters besides the Inklings that would make any sense to be included in this game are the Octolings. Now for the final Ecco fighter, I believe that if we are going to receive another third-party Ecco fighter, that we will only receive one, as we already have Richter. Now, I think there are really only 2 options for this, and I think they would either be Shadow the Hedgehog or Ken from Street Fighter. And in the end, I think it will be Shadow. In the Direct, we saw the addition of Knuckles as an assist trophy, which really makes me think that the Ecco fighter of a third-party character will be Sonic. This means my options were either Tails or Shadow, and as much as I think Tails would be a great addition having Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in the game, Shadow is basically the definition of an Ecco fighter for Sonic, and I think it would just have to be him. He could keep many of the spin dash attacks, but just change his final smash to Chaos Control, as I think that just has to be his final smash. Also, I know this would never happen, but they should totally just give him his guns from his game and just let him run riot. I really hope that happens, but it's so unlikely that I'm gonna keep my hopes down. But Shadow is still a very likely Ecco fighter for Sonic in these games. Now, as I said earlier, I think the total number of unique fighters in the base game will be 70. Since we already have 67, this means I believe there will be 3 more fighters. The first new fighter I think that will be included is Skull Kid from the Legend of Zelda series. Skull Kid was one of the most requested characters back in the Smash Bros. 4 days, and Sakurai has shown that he's taking that into consideration, with the additions of Ridley and King K. Rool. Plus, we saw the Moon from Majora's Mask as an assist trophy in the Smash Bros. Direct, but we have not seen Skull Kid return as an assist trophy yet. The moveset for him could be so unique, as he could use his Master Attack along with Tattle and Tail, his fairies, and his final smash could be similar to the Moon assist trophy, which just destroys the stage. I think Skull Kid is very likely to be included. Every Smash Bros. Game seems to include a new Pokemon from the most recent games. Since Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are coming out about a month before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it is possible we could receive a Pokemon from that game, but I don't think it's very likely. The only Pokemon from that game that I think is possible is whatever that mysterious Pokemon that they hinted at the end of the first trailer is, but that's still not very likely. I believe it will be a Generation 7 Pokemon. At first, I thought Mimikyu could be an Ecco fighter for Pikachu, but then he was revealed as a Pokeball Pokemon, so that went out the window. I decided that Incineroar is the most likely Pokemon to be added. I know many people believe that Decidueye will be added, but he already has a role in Pokken Tournament, and Incineroar is much more popular than Decidueye in Japan especially. Rowlet is loved a lot. but not Decidueye. His moveset could easily be created around the moves he learns in the games, and his final smash would obviously be his Z move. I mean, it just works too well. If we are to receive one new Pokemon, it will definitely be Incineroar. The final new fighter that I believe will be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is also the fighter that I believe has the best chance to be in the game. I'm sure a lot of you also agree with me and want this character in the game. That character is Gino. Gino was by far one of the most requested characters in Smash 4, much more than Skull Kid was. And with the addition of Cloud from Final Fantasy, Square Enix has shown their willingness to work with Nintendo for this game. Plus, Gino already had a Mii costume in Smash Bros. 4, which just shows how many people wanted to play as him. Sakurai knows everyone wants Gino, and I believe it is time for him to finally make his return to video games. Simon Belmont and King K. Rool have shown that recency bias doesn't have as much of an impact anymore, which makes Gino much more likely to be added into these games. Now, those are what I believe to be the most likely additions to Smash Bros. Ultimate, but I do have a few honorable mentions that I would like to quickly bring up. I think Impa has a good chance to be an Ecco fighter for Sheik, especially with the fairly recent release of Hyrule Warriors. Waddle Dee has been a highly requested character in Japan specifically, and I think he could either be an Ecco fighter of Meta Knight or be his entirely own character. Isaac from Golden Sun has a good chance in my opinion, especially because we haven't seen his assist trophy yet, but he's not as likely as the others. Dixie Kong could be an Ecco fighter for Diddy, especially with King K. Rool being added. This is definitely possible. So is Funky Kong, but I don't think he's as likely as we already received the heavy character of King K. Rool. Rayman has been a highly requested, and there were many fake leaks back in the Smash Bros. 4 days for him, so it definitely could happen. Rare has shown their interest in working with Nintendo for Smash Bros, so Banjo and Kazooie have a decent shot, especially because there were so many people that wanted him to be added, and we know they're taking that into consideration. Amaterasu from Okami has a good chance in my opinion with the recent re-release of Okami HD on the Switch, but to be honest, I don't think she's nearly as likely to be added as the ones before this. And although it's basically impossible for this to happen, I want Waluigi to be a playable character, as pretty much all of you do at this point. But we've already seen him as an assist trophy. There are many people grasping at straws saying that because there was a purple chair and a yellow chair behind Sakurai in the Direct, that he's hinting that Waluigi will be playable, which is just absurd. That being said, however, this is something that Sakurai would do, so be on the lookout for him saying Waluigi is playable like the day before the game is released, just to throw everybody off. So, that is what I believe to be the most likely final roster for Smash Bros. Ultimate. Do you agree with my list, or do you think it's absolute? Let me know in the comments down below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and consider subscribing if you are new here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys next time. Bye-bye.